Hello there, I am Tigster2005 of the Prequelgang, and welcome to another episode of Tigster Talks, the show where I talk about stuff by myself. So, last night, as of recording this video, I watched Thor, the fourth installment in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And, Thor, great movie. Oh my god, this was like surprising how good it actually was. Uh, and the reason why I say it was surprising is because this was like I always saw this like not like at the bottom, but like near the bottom of a lot of the rank movie rankings that I saw. Like like of course we had like Thor: Dark World at the bottom and like Iron Man 2 and 3, Hulk, but then like above that like Thor wouldn't be too far up, and I was like, okay, I hope this movie is good, but you know how I'm not sure how much I can really expect here. But no, 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 no. This was a fantastic movie. I loved watching it. So again, as with the previous videos, this will contain a lot of spoilers. So be sure to actually watch the movie before watching this video. As I will be spoiling this movie and maybe the previous three, but I'll mostly be focusing on this one, of course. So, Thor, this is a very different sort of movie than compared to the Iron Man movies because, well, uh, Thor is from like the character Thor, and yes, his real name is Thor Odinson. Uh, like he is basically a god from like a different realm known as Asgard. So so like he along with some of his friends and like he basically comes from this other realm. So not Earth, not anywhere else. This different realm known as Asgard, right? And he has friends there. He like all of his family and friends are from there as well. He has a brother named Loki, and he has some friends who are also, you know, in they also live in Asgard. They're basically gods. That's basically what they are. Um, and so Thor was basically he was supposed to be the next king after the next king after like his father stepped down from the throne. But then but then they got attacked by these ice dudes. I forgot what they were called, but basically they got attacked. Thor got rallies his friends and also Loki to try and like stop them. Like he goes to their homeworld to attack and get answers. And Thor's father didn't want that, and eventually that just leads to like war and stuff, and basically Thor gets banished. He gets sent to Earth, and actually this movie's opening scene is some characters in a car, and they were driving, and then there's like this huge bolt of lightning, and they crash into someone, and then it kind of goes back and shows Asgard and everything. So it's kind of like Iron Man in that way, where they show an opening scene where something happens, like something big happens, and then it's like it goes back to like what happened earlier, right? So I think yeah, that's a very good approach for these movies. It's like instead of starting off with a whole bunch of exposition, it's like there's a big thing that happens right at the beginning, and then they show the events that led up to that. I think that's like a very good way to get the audience's attention right at the beginning. Uh, so there's that, and also what I why the one of the reasons why I think this movie works so well is because Thor's character is just like when he's definitely like, you know, he has flaws just like Tony Stark had flaws. Like he's definitely sometimes very quick to like act. He doesn't really think a lot of stuff through. uh, which is like how he managed to make that mistake in the beginning of the movie, and especially when he goes to Earth and like he's like in a place and he's like drinking something and it's like, this is great, another, and then he slams the cup on the floor and it shatters and it's like it was a funny scene. And then when he goes into like a pet shop and he asks for a horse, it's just really funny how this guy who comes from a very different place compared to Earth, how he's basically here and now he's like kind of an outcast in some ways. Like like he doesn't know how things operate here. He doesn't know really anything. He's just kind of here, and his hammer is like that. It crashed into uh like it fell down, and now it's like stuck in a rock, and no one can pull it out. That's like one big part of this movie is that the hammer is there, but no one can pull it out. It's like stuck in this big rock, and that's like what the post credit scene in Iron Man 2 was about. So that's pretty cool. And there's a scene where Thor himself tries to pull it out, but he can't, and that's because like Thor's father Odin, he basically said that like uh, it'll be there, but only when someone is worthy of it, then they can pull it out. And Thor at that point was considered to be unworthy of it. Uh, and then until of course his character develops, and Loki actually sort of turns against everyone and starts like attacking the city, or I guess it's like a more of a town type of place, like a suburban type of place. But whatever. He starts attacking in this big suit of armor. I guess it's like it's more of a mech, I guess you could call it. And Thor actually sacrifices himself to try to get his brother to stop what he's doing, because these people, they did nothing wrong to him. Thor, on the other hand, he could make the argument that maybe Thor did something to Loki, so maybe he should direct his attacks on Thor and not the like all the innocent civilians. And so then at that point, Thor almost dies, but then the hammer flies to him, and at that point, that's like a big turning point. And another thing about this movie is the character of Loki. He's it's shown that he's always wanted the throne. Well, no, then it's like basically he wanted to be Thor's equal, but it seemed like Odin was always favoring Thor over Loki, and apparently that might have been because Loki was actually taken like when he was a baby from those ice dudes, which I forgot what their names were, but what they were called, but that's not important. But that's like a whole side thing, and it creates this good character dynamic between these two characters, and eventually I didn't mention this yet, but Thor actually meets a woman named Jane, I believe her name was. She was like doing a whole bunch of research, and the Shield organization, uh, which we saw in both Iron Man movies, like they basically were taking everything away to like make sure that everything was like safe, I guess, and they took all of her research away, like all of her life's work just gone. And while Thor was trying to get his hammer back, he managed to snag one of her notebooks. And then there's like this really brilliant scene where Thor basically explains how there's all these different realms, and how like Jane's ancestors called it magic, but then Jane calls it science, and Thor comes from a world where they're the same thing. So that's like an idea that, I haven't seen the other MCU movies, but I feel like that might become important at some point. It's just a theory. It might not be important at all, but I think it's just an interesting way of expanding the universe of like Marvel Cinematic Universe. Because like while Shield on Earth is still trying to like figure out everything with their own like human technology, there's all this other stuff going on that's like beyond their comprehension, basically. Uh, just very different stuff, and that's like I feel like that's the reason, part of the reason why I enjoyed this movie so much. It's because it just expanded this universe with this one movie. It's like, wow, there's a whole bunch of stuff in this in the MCU that we haven't seen before in the previous movies. Because let's not forget the previous three movies. They were all just on Earth, in a few cities, and that's basically all the setting was. It's like just on Earth. But Thor, oh no no no, it's like different realms and stuff, and like how and they're traveling between them sometimes, and eventually at the end of the movie, Thor has to like break one of the bridges that connects to Earth, so he can't go back, and the movie kind of ends there. But then one of the other characters tells him that there probably is still a way to go there at some point. And I imagine that he does go back, because I'm pretty sure he does in like Avengers or something, but I can't be sure because I haven't seen the Avengers. But uh yeah, that's basically it, I guess. So yeah, Thor. This is probably like my favorite MCU movie so far. Uh Previously it was Iron Man, of course. This is like I think this might actually be better than even Iron Man 1. So, yeah, this leaves me very excited for the rest of the MCU movies. Uh, and I hear that Thor Ragnarok, which is the last Thor standalone movie, I hear that one's really good. So I guess I'll look forward to that. And I hear Thor: The Dark World is the worst MCU movie. That's the second Thor standalone movie. So I don't know. I guess I have to be prepared for disappointment. Uh, but yeah, Thor. Also, the post-credit scene. It's basically just Nick Fury and one scientist dude. I forgot what his name was. Uh, they like look at a thing, and it's like, oh, it's source of power, perhaps infinite power, and that's basically just it, I guess. So, yeah, Thor, great movie, fantastic. I think it's probably my favorite MCU movie so far. Uh, yeah, I've just been rambling for 12 minutes. That's basically the whole takeaway here. I like rambling sometimes about things I like. So anyway, like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Hit the bell. Follow us on Twitch and Instagram. Join our Discord server, and keep having the high ground.